That's it. I just did I finished the one that was Rock and Roll Over, which was 500 pieces. This is 1,000 pieces.
Dude, that's the one I can't finish. I always finish Kiss, but that whole purple and black background makes no sense as far as the puzzle pieces are concerned.
Show it to us again. Show it to us.
I think it's from like about the 96 reunion or so, or the first reunion.
Oh, yeah.
So sick.
But the problem is the pieces itself, well, you can't really see, but
yeah.
That could be anything. What's that?
Yeah, there's a million random black pieces. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
I don't know. I think I just saw jeans. It's a piece of jean right there.
Did y'all see the picture I sent you earlier today?
Which one was that?
Right here. Oh, Juan says to accept him.
Oh. Juan. His name's just iPhone on here.
Dude, this is every week we should have a different piece of Kiss memorabilia to share.
All right, so I'm just recording this.
Cool.
One
recorded in gallery view.
Can you guys hear me?
Hell yeah.
All right, I'm there.
Yo, what's good, Juan?
What's up, Andy?
Is gallery view the way to go?
I think so, because if you record it, I think it screen records. So then we'll have all our faces. Huh? It'll be like the Kiss solo
albums. I got dibs on red background.
Hell yeah, I'm down for purple.
It's always good to have somebody on board who's cool being Paul.
Yeah, dude, you haven't seen me on stage, dude. I'll go in, dude. I'll do the lick it up hand moves, dude. Can you believe that Paul didn't know, like, thought that they had built a set for the lick it up video? He didn't realize the Bronx just looked like that 24/7.
Was that in the Bronx they shot that?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I guess they were official. This is the first experimental Elders Council 14 Kiss podcast. And I'm Andy Animal. Everybody introduce yourself.
You gotta do the 1980. I'm Andy Animal, introducing you to.
I'm Andy Animal, introducing you to.
I'm Brandon Katzman, introducing you to Juan Montoya.
Juan Montoya, introduce Pete Macy. Is he frozen? No,
and all the way from, where's he at, New York?
Yeah, we're in
I'm actually in Massachusetts right now, but yeah, I live in New York.
How does Paul Stanley pronounce New York? He's like, New York! Pete Macy. What's up, brother?
Pretty good.
Pete Macy of Early Man fame. Guys, why don't you plug your what band?
You guys gotta say, look, it's rock and roll.
What bands are you famous for being in?
Ben's always
I like to shred.
Yeah, Ben Katzman. He's just the name alone.
Yeah, it's shreddy band.
He's been releasing records. He's been doing tours. He's been killing it.
Juan Montoya is famous for being my hype man.
Yeah.
Juan Montoya's been in all. You're like a pro band guy.
Yeah, I played in Cavity. I played in Kill or Be Killed with the guys.
Oh, we're frozen. You guys frozen? I'm frozen. Hello. Shit. You guys frozen? Oh, wait. You there?
There. You're worried about you, Andy.
Okay, yeah. You guys froze.
Podcast.
Oh, you froze.
Did I freeze?
Whatever. All right, let's
look. It's rock and roll.
So it's Ace Frehley's birthday today, fellas.
So
start. Happy birthdays.
Yeah, here's one for Ace.
I'm empty-handed.
I think it's vodka lemonade. So we talked of what did we do? We had a meeting last week, and we were like, which could have been this.
Yeah.
Because we were just like, save it for the podcast.
I remember one talking point was that we got to introduce ourselves and how we got into Kiss.
Okay. You want to go first?
I'll go first. Hi, I'm Ben Katzman. I love to shred. favorite member is Ace Frehley, Spirit Animals, Gene Simmons. The way I got into Kiss, now I'm a bit younger, but when I was about like 10, I was really obsessed with the Ramones and cartoons and stuff. And it's about the age you start getting into like porno and like that kind of stuff. And I would go to my brother's room all the time to go try and find his Playboy magazines and his Penthouse magazines. And one day they were gone. And while I was looking through his closet to find it, I found a VHS copy of Detroit Rock City. And I looked at the cover. I was like, whoa, what's this, man? It's Superheroes Who Rock, dude. And so I watched that day instead of jerking off. And that's how I discovered Kiss. And it was like, I'm not going to lie, it was a life-changing experience.
And then you masturbated after you saw them.
Yeah, dude, it was crazy. When they do the shot from inside the tongue.
And he's been masturbating to fucking Kiss for like 25 years.
That was maybe 15 years ago.
So then it just it's just they pulled you in like they do all of us.
100%. I mean, the songs are so good. They're so catchy, and it's like, you know, sometimes I forget that they're like the coolest looking rock band. I genuinely like the music. I think the guitar playing's great. I think they got a really clever sense for melodies, and like the lyrics, people can make fun of the lyrics for being so dumb, but like you will never forget the chorus to a Kiss song. You know what I'm saying?
Hell no. What about you? What about you, Pete?
Oh man, let me get this in here. I don't have a snazzy intro like Ben. Like, hey, I'm Pete. I also like the shred. I also like Ace Frehley. I got into Kiss. I was younger, and I was really into like Poison and Motley Crue and that sort of thing. So Hide Your Heart, I think, was the first Kiss song where I was like, oh, this is the stuff. Like, even though I don't really like the album, Hot in the Shade was the album I kind of got into them on. And
Really?
Yeah. And my older cousin got me into them, and my sister's boyfriend at the time got me into it. They were all like super into Kiss. And I was like, what album should I get? And they were like, Get Alive 2 and get Creatures of the Night, and you'll be golden. And that's what I did. And what a journey it's been since then.
Wait, I have so many questions though about Hot in the Shade being your first album. Did you know that they were like those like white clown faced like shred heads, or were you like into it based on 80s Kiss in the beginning?
I mean, I knew they had a history, and I'm sure I knew rock and roll all night. And I'm sure, you couldn't really listen to the radio and not hear that even then. But I wasn't like, I mean, I knew they had a history, but I was into like hair metal, and I thought Hide Your Heart was cool. I thought Forever was cool, and kind of went into it backwards from there.
Sick.
That shows that you first got into them because of their musicianship. It wasn't even the makeup that pulled you in.
It was the smooth sound of Bruce Kulick, and I was like, I am sold.
That's real, dude. That's real. What about you, Juan?
Man, the first time I first saw them when I was visiting South America, Caracas, Venezuela. And I remember I was walking with my mom. I was like probably like 6 years old. This was, I think, 1978, when right after Love Gun came out and Alive 2. Well, I just saw a poster on the wall. We must have passed by a record store or a fashion boutique or something. I don't remember what the store was, but I do remember the poster. And it's funny because I remember the exact photo shoots, the one that they were standing on these little high-rise things, the mirrored high-rise things.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I saw that photo, and I'm like, man, these guys, this is, I was saying it in Spanish. This is before I even knew English. I'm like, wow, estos tipos son locos. Or something like that. And then I got to the United States, like around 79. And my mom had a friend who had a 16-year-old son. And, I kind of like walked in his room, and I'm like, he was listening to music. So I was definitely intrigued. And I thought it sounded super cool. So he let me look through his records. He had vinyl. So I would go through them, and I saw Sabbath, Heaven and Hell, which is I always remembered seeing that right away. I never forgot that image of the angel smoking. And he had Ted Nugent, and I saw Ted Nugent with his arms for guitars for
Oh,
arms.
yeah.
And then I saw the Love Gun and the Rock and Roll Over, and like, 4 Kiss records in a row. So I'm like, oh man, it triggered. I'm like, I remember seeing these guys. This is so cool. And then I asked him about it, and he goes, dude, just keep it. Keep 2 of the records. He gave me 2 of the records. So I got home and we had a record player. My mom did, and it was Dress to Kill and Love Gun were my first ones. So I just flipped them back and forth, listening to them like nonstop for hours. So that really got me into them. And I think Kiss's music at the time, it wasn't too complex. So it was more like, it was kind of easy for like a 7, 8-year-old kid to kind of get into. And of course the image just sells it for you,
100%.
you know? I
You're
mean, the
part of-
songs are, to me, they're catchy enough to be kind of like Ramones
Yeah.
songs, especially back then,
Well, I do want to get to that in a little bit, but how they should be.
Yeah, and I think
known
a lot
as-
of people,
more known as
don't
yeah.
realize how cool they were before.
They should be
They
more
kinda-
recognized as being a New York band too, which I think a lot of people.
I
don't.
always say they're the biggest band to come out of Brooklyn, dude.
But yeah, you're part of that generation of kids that got into Kiss and started going to the shows, which is why like Peter and Ace were over it. They didn't want to play to a bunch of kids.
You ruined it for
Yeah,
everybody, man.
exactly.
Like this turned into a Disney World.
It's funny because
Way to go, Juan.
Yeah, thanks for nothing, man.
well, it's funny because a friend of mine, he got to go to that first show. They played in 1980 and over here in Florida at the Hollywood Sportatorium. They used to call it the Hollywood Snortatorium because it was just like a big party. Like they had monster truck things and all that stuff. So it was in the middle of the boonies out west,
What
away
year?
from the city. And Kiss performed there like in 1980, and I was begging my mom. I'm like, we just got to the United States, and I'm like, Mom, let me go see them. Let me go see them. And I was too young. I was 7 years old. So she's like, she said no. So I kept the newspaper article. That's how I found out. And then years later, I became friends with Stephen Gibb, and I saw that he had photos with Kiss, like from that same show that I wanted to go to as a kid. Because his dad's Barry Gibb from the Bee Gees.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
he had Gene Simmons come to his house, dude.
Cool.
Super cool. And I saw a couple of photos. He showed me a couple of photos, and it's just him with the Kiss guys with makeup on, and then one of him with Gene Simmons and his dad. And Gene is covering his face, but he has this long ass tongue, sticking out. And his tongue is bigger than Steven's face was when he was 7 years old. It's funny. You just see a long ass tongue and you see a little kid's head.
I met you, I never had seen you cry. Sorry.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Sorry.
Yeah, so I mean, fuck. After that, I was like buying their records. I was getting the Iron On T-shirts. I was, and then I finally got to see them during the Lick It Up tour. It took me that long to see them,
Cool.
and it was cool. It wasn't like makeup Kiss, but they kind of looked kind of odd at that time, but they were still kicking ass.
It's better than my first show. I was there the first tour with the new Kiss, Tommy Thayer and Eric Singer.
Oh no.
I know, it was a sin. It was a sin.
I just sit the whole time like, who are these people dressed up like Peter and Ace?
This is before like social media was huge. This is like 2003, 2004. I saw that VH1 documentary when Kiss ruled the world. Wasn't I was already obsessed with the band, and they announced the tour dates. It was like, sick, this is going to be great. And then it isn't until like maybe a week before the tour that like all the press photos for the tour came out. Because when you bought the tickets or looked up the band online, they had photos with that new guy, but Peter Criss was in the band. But a lot of the tour photos being promoted on like Ticketmaster was the original lineup. So I totally thought I was going to see the original lineup. And then I get to the show. or maybe it was like 2 weeks before the show, I see that it's Eric Singer and Tommy Thayer, and I got so bummed. But the show still rocked for what it was. I was 12. I didn't know any better. I was like, this is so sick. But
somebody
at least the set list was good for that tour.
Yeah, you know what's cool about that? Those tours that you saw, that they still sold merchandise that had Ace and Peter in it.
Yeah, my first Kiss shirt had Peter on it, even though Tommy Thayer was on it, even though Peter wasn't there.
Yeah.
What about you, Andy? We've been talking. You haven't talked about your Kiss history.
First, let me read this. Blood Shot Bill just sent me his friend's status update. It's Ace Frehley's birthday, so I assume Tommy Thayer pretends it's his too. Parentheses, I make this fake Ace joke every year.
Oh man, that's hilarious.
Me, I've got a weird history with it. My older brother was like really into punk. Like so he got me into that at like a really young age. He was in like when I was like in second or third grade. He was really into like Minor Threat and the Dead Kennedys and bands like The Cure and stuff.
Which I love. That's cool.
And like when I was like 5, he was or 6. I was like about 6. You know, he was into Guns N' Roses. Then he's like, yeah, fuck this lame cock rock stuff. Got really into punk, and so like for years I was like, it wasn't until I was about 13 maybe that I started just kind of showing interest. And like I saw Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park VHS for sale at the James Way store up in Saugerties. I didn't get it, but I was so riveted. I found it so riveting that it stuck with me, and I kind of like just kept on seeing things and feeling interested. But at the same time, I was like, "Fuck these guys." I'm not, because I thought, my brother wasn't into Kiss, so I was like, but then I found an old 8-track player. I'll like buy some dumpster, and I got it, and I got some 8-tracks from Salvation Army, and one of them was Dynasty, and I'm like, all right, this 2000 Man song is cool. That's kind of like punk.
Yeah.
Like, and then Beavis and Butthead, I saw the I Love It Loud video. Then somebody gave me a Phantom of the Park, and then my dad took me and got me Destroyer on CD. I'm just like, I'm not gonna fool myself anymore. Kiss fucking rules.
Hell yeah.
And then I found out they're a New York band, which like I think just really did it for me, because like New York bands like the Beastie Boys and the Ramones always like that was part of what did it for me. Like I'm not from New York City. I'm like an hour and a half away from New York City, but it's all in my blood, so. And,
well, what was they obviously showed that they were a New York band. I mean, they would take a lot of outdoor photos. They took that famous shot of them on top of the Empire State Building.
I gotta find it, but my dorm room, I had that Empire State photo. Huge.
Yeah.
They were definitely obviously a New York band until like a little later.
Yeah.
There's all those old photos of them in the city and shit and out in public.
And there's a couple really cool shots that weren't that famous, but they kind of got famous later on of them like at a park. Was it Central Park?
Yeah, hanging out with old ladies and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. They were out
right
there
when
just
Hotter Than Hell
people.
was coming out.
Yeah.
What is the thing everybody hates the most about Kiss, though? Like, let's be real here. Like, what is it that, like, I love the band, but there are certain things I see them do, and it's like it brings out this cringe factor that I wish they could undo from their legacy. What are some of those for you guys?
I got one. I got a big problem, and I've actually come to accept it, and it's kind of like, it's just kind of something that I go with, but like, there's something about, especially Paul Stanley, Gene West much, but like they can't seem to enjoy their legacy without slagging everyone who's been in the band.
100%.
Like, they never say nice things about Ace and Peter. They never say nice things about Vinnie Vincent. They never, Mark St. John, he played too fast. It's like, yeah, but you hired him. Like, he didn't show it. Like, they're not real nice to much of their legacies. And their attitude of like, the band is this, me, Gene, Tommy Thayer, and Eric. You don't like it, maybe you're not a fan.
Yeah, that
Whereas with
kind of
rock and
relates
people,
to
like
my
it
thing
too.
where it's like they always feel like they have to sell what they're doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Paul,
every
the
record they've done
most
is the best record they've done.
100%. Paul, I think, is the most guilty of it. He can never apologize or go back. It's like in his book, he constantly is talking about how he's mature and has changed. But then it's like 5 minutes later, he's like, well, you know, I really believe in second chances, just not for people like Peter or Ace.
But isn't that also one of your favorite things about Kiss? Like they just
100%.
follow all this drama. Like,
Yeah,
It's so great. It's so great. I mean, that's one of the best things. They are like the archetype rock band as far as the music, the look, and the egos. You know?
Yeah. Wait, is my face getting big in the thing? Where's my face? Do you guys see my face getting big in the box? I see Ben right now.
I'm
your
chilling
face is really
hard.
big.
Hey guys,
I've
like I
been
plugged my
gathering
headphones
from
in. Tell me if you guys could hear me better.
Has my face enlarged once?
No, I just see you moving back and forth towards the
Let
camera.
me put in my headphones and see what happens. Where the hell do I put these things? Maybe if I put it in my headphones. Pete, you're not wearing the headphones, are you?
No, but maybe I should be.
Because everyone else's faces is getting big except mine. And I
You think it's
love
because of the
attention.
headphones?
I love attention.
Yeah, me
Dude,
too.
But look at the scenic view Andy has behind him. I mean, he's in it looks like you're like in a nice little crispy part of
Put on some headphones.
New York.
Cats
Now what are we doing now?
baby.
Just happening.
Woodstock, baby. You guys ever
Yeah.
met anyone from Kiss?
Yeah, Juan and I've met all of them.
He's met all of them. Mm-hmm.
I just met Peter. Tell me about when
Peter
you
was the coolest, though.
Oh, you guys went to that Gene Simmons vault. For those who don't know,
Extravaganza?
Gene Simmons was selling a vault
Yeah,
of
we got to go
CDs
for
of
free.
unreleased stuff that he said would never get leaked. Hey, guess what? 3 Sides of the Coin podcast.
We've heard it all, man.
We've heard
got
it. I got it. I got those illegally sent to me. I got them all on MP3, baby.
Yo, that event was so cringe. As cool as it was, like I was definitely like, I can't believe we're here in a room watching Gene
Wait.
and Ace play.
How much was he selling it for again?
Like I think $2,000.
2 or 3
It was
grand.
$2
right?
grand, but the experience was a lot more, right? Like
Yeah.
it wasn't
No,
$2
the experience,
$2
I
grand
think,
to get
was
it sent to you.
No, I think it's $2,000 if you go to the group thing, but then it's like 20 grand if Gene Simmons comes to your house or something like that.
Okay, that makes
And then
sense.
it's 1,500 if it's sent to you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I met Ace once, but it wasn't like a exciting thing. I worked at a guitar store, and we bought one of his guitars. He was selling the prototype Gibsons with his. Yeah, I guess he had a bunch of prototypes. He was selling them.
Sick.
And so the day before, my friend was like, "Hey Pete, I know you're a big Kiss fan. Ace Frehley's coming by tomorrow." And I like freaked out. So I brought like a vinyl copy of his that '78 solo album. We weren't allowed to ask for autographs or anything, but I was like, maybe he'll be cool. And then like I get there, I was like, "Is Ace here?" And they're like, "No, he's been calling all morning. He's freaking out. He's being real weird. He doesn't want to come down here. He wants us to drive to him. No one drives. We don't know what to do." And then so I think they went to another place to do the deal, but he promised to come to the store. And then like a week or two later, he walked in. I was like, "Oh man, Ace Frehley's here." And they're like, "No, he's not here." But he was, and he was cool. He was a lot taller than I thought he was going to be, and he stood
They're
right in front of me.
gigantic.
Yeah, and he had his hand on his stomach, and he was just kind of swaying like this the whole time he was talking to me. And he's like, "Yeah, I used to have a bunch of Les Pauls. Gibson sent me a bunch of Les Pauls. They weren't painted. What do they want me to do, paint them?" And I was like, "I don't know. It's really a great story." And he said to me, because like it wasn't like a one-on-one thing. Everyone was trying to meet him. So that's what he said to me, and I was like, "That's a good point. I don't know."
Yeah.
And I saw Paul Stanley. Paul Stanley came in one day, but he didn't talk to me. He was talking to the owner of the store, or the boss. He knew him, I guess. But
Still super cool. Peter was probably for me the coolest, I gotta say.
I can see that.
Yeah, because with Ace and Gene and Paul, it was all super formal events. So it's like, what are you going to tell them? But I had met Peter at the LA Kiss Expo, and I had won a contest to meet him first. So I had like 15 minutes with him. So we just chatted for 15 minutes, and I was wearing sunglasses, and he was wearing sunglasses. It was just a bunch of like, by the end of the 15 minutes, it was a ton of inside jokes. And the photographer's like, don't you want to take your sunglasses off? And Peter's like, don't you think we look cool wearing them? And I was like, damn, he's acting like my dad right now. This is so sick. He signed all my stuff for free. He was super nice. I mean, you know, you don't really get that side of those people sometimes. Gene just felt like, as cool as it was like so transactional. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you for employing me to come stand here.
Yeah.
I got really nervous when I met Peter. I mean, it was fucking Peter Chris. So like, fucking, I went to not Fangoria, the Chiller Theater Convention in Jersey. That's like a horror convention, and he was there.
Oh, I was thinking of going to that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. And he had his own room, and you got, like, I always told my old drummer Josh Stiles, I'm like, someday I'm gonna get Peter Chris to piss on your grave. It's an ongoing thing, I said, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna get Peter to sign to Josh Stiles, I will piss on your grave. And I had to like explain that to him, this inside joke. And I was like stuttering. I was so nervous. I'm like,
awesome.
it's just, I told that his joke that he'd piss on his grave. Not really, but like, it's a joke.
Cat piss is probably like the worst out of all.
He just goes, that is morbid. He says, there's a few graves I wouldn't mind pissing on, but I'm sure not his. And
man, that's awesome.
And yeah, and like he turned to his wife. He's like, "Is it okay if I write that?" She's like, "Yeah, go ahead, honey."
His wife's his handler.
Yeah, they're Jersey people. The Jersey people. So.
Yeah.
Hey, kind of an out there question. When you met him at a horror movie convention, did you have a long line, or people trying to meet like Freddy Krueger and stuff?
There wasn't a long line, actually.
That's what I thought, because I went to one to meet wrestlers, and no one cared about the wrestlers. It was like,
yeah,
Captain Albano and the Iron Sheik, and I was like, this is awesome. But everyone wanted to meet, I don't know, the guy from Saw or something. So
I kind of want to meet Vinnie Vincent, man. I'm kind of down to go just witness that train wreck.
I would be in. I am in.
But not for he's selling his merch now. He's doing that $9,500 merch pack with like.
It doesn't seem worth it. Yeah. Nothing in it seems worth $9,000.
Not even 95, if you ask me, man.
No.
Man.
Also, it's Vinnie Vincent, so you probably won't get it.
Yeah.
He's like notorious for scamming people.
Does it come with with a makeup kit, but his own makeup kit, like pink blush?
Right. You get a wig like in the Vinnie Vincent Invasion.
Yeah. I've never met
a lot.
Yeah, I've never met Paul. I would like to. He seems kind of cool sometimes, but after the book, it just kind of he rubbed me the wrong way. And I think my girlfriend, she kind of feels the same. When he comes on, like modern day Paul comes on, she's kind of like, she's like, this guy again. But Ace is definitely cool. Peter seems like he would be the coolest from like your experiences with him.
Yeah.
But the only one I've got a chance to actually hang out with has been Ace. I've actually hung out with him for like hours when he did that event in Miami with Gene. Ace was flown in just to kind of help bump the sales. And then Ace just wanted to hang out backstage, or
he was late to the event by 4 hours. Remember that?
Yeah. But he was cool because he got to play me that Space Invaders record before it came out.
Oh, cool.
And we just hung out looking at guitars. And this is thanks to Bill Goldstein, who runs Walt Grace Vintage. He's like, come hang out in the back, and I'm like, oh man. And I walked in there, and we're all like just playing guitar and everything like that. So it was cool. It was really cool.
That's good.
And he does have that high pitched voice. Pretty.
Yeah.
He's still also deaf, so you have to yell at him. You have to like yell at him for him to have a conversation.
Yeah. I was backstage at an Ace Frehley show at Nokia Theater or something in Manhattan, and I was side stage the whole show. That's when my journal Todd Youth, rest in peace, was playing with him. I was buddies with Todd, So I watched the whole show. I got really drunk, which is why I don't think they let me into Ace's little area. So I was fucking bombed. I saw, they're like, you guys gotta wait a minute. And then I just like saw other people going past me. I'm like, okay.
I get it.
They don't want my drunk ass back here.
That's better than me. I messed up with Paul Stanley because I met him in a meet and greet, and it was super quick anyways, but I gave him my record, and he looked at the art, and he was like, I don't think he really cared, but he was putting on a show. He was acting really nice about it. And then I went in for a hug, and Paul's like, not about that. So I went in, and he deflected it, but I went in for it. I said, I'm sorry, Paul. You got no choice. Have a good one. And then I left.
But the thing is with Paul, I think he's the one that's always talking about like his fans, but I think he's always been kind of like the one that doesn't really like doing like fan events.
Yeah.
I think.
Have you seen that footage of the Gene Simmons vault with Paul Stanley?
Yeah, was it on a boat or something, or like downstairs at a club or something?
It was at the Kiss mini golf in Vegas, and he's just ignoring all the fans' questions, playing guitar and going like, "Yeah, that happened." Like he's like at this special event, totally like not caring about Gene Simmons's like box set. It's a little hard to watch.
Well, he kind of got shamed into doing that, right? Because like everyone else, like they had Vinnie Vincent did it, and Ace Frehley did it, and Peter Criss walked in, and everyone's like, "Paul, why don't you do it?" He's like, "I don't know, maybe I'll do it. I don't."
Yeah, they shamed him on Twitter.
Just shamed him.
Serious.
Yeah.
If his name's not on the billboard or if he's not getting a big cut, I could tell he just doesn't want it. Like not worth his time. He's all about that now. And even back during the reunion tour, like in '96, the old drummer of my band, Monstro, is Bevan. He had a friend that was kind of like hooking up with Gene at the time, so they went to see a bunch of shows, and he said he got to hang out like in the hotel, knowing that which hotel they were staying at. So he was there, and he got starstruck a little. He got like shy. But then he tried taking a picture of Paul while Paul was like eating or something. And Paul's like, he gives him this look. He's like, and then when people would ask him questions, Paul's like, no, my throat. And I guess his throat did get tore up, but he's kind of like, he just whispers things. He's like,
and that's the magic of Kiss.
That's why they love him. That's what packs them in.
No, but for real, like the reason I think Kiss is so sick is part of the story is, I mean, somebody like me who was bullied as a kid, it's like they are the band that everybody loves to shit on, despite how good they are. And it's like, when you're bullied, you're not like a loser. You're like, there's got to be something about you that drives people crazy. And I feel like Kiss embodies that. You know what I'm saying? They're just like they own their vibe so hard, or they did back in the day, and I think that drives people so nuts. And it's like what other band has all that merch except maybe for the Beatles, but like is actually that good? You see all these bands like later, like Guar or the Aquabats try and do that thing, and like I'm sorry, but the music does not rock as hard.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I used to go to Guar shows when I was a teenager. I was talking about this recently. I ran into an old friend of mine. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember you. You were like part of that Guar crowd. Like you guys, I used to go to the shows because it was fun to watch. But you guys used to like drive around listening to them. I was never a Guar. Yeah, they don't rock like Kiss.
No, definitely not.
I mean, hey, show me some real music, huh?
The other cool thing about Kiss, though, is like when you meet fans, everybody's got their own era of the band they love. Like nobody loves the same Kiss. You know what I'm saying? Like you got the people who swear only by the first 3 albums and then drop off by Destroyer. And then you got those people that swear by 80s Kiss. And then you even have like those weird ones that are like Gene and Paul apologists that swear by Sonic Boom and say it's a classic record. And if it got released in 1977, we would love it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So,
I mean, those are the diehards. Like talking about Bevan, when we were touring, he would play like, the Something of Souls. What's the name of that Kiss record?
Carnival of Souls.
Carnival of Souls. And I'm like, man, this sounds like Alice in Chains. And then he played all the Hot in the Shade and stuff. That's when I kind of dropped off.
Yeah.
From listening to Kiss, whatever they put out, but I would always listen to their early stuff because that's timeless. The first 4 or 5 records
Kiss is kind of like crack to me, where I'll overconsume the first like 6 records, and then I'll be looking for that hit. So I'll go for like Dynasty and Unmasked and Creatures of the Night. And then like once I've gotten those out of my system, I start searching around the 80s material, you know, hoping like I'll get like another Heavens on Fire or Turn on the Night, you know what I'm saying?
See, I'm
It's
all
like-
On the night, thank you.
I'm all about checking out the pre-Kiss stuff, the Wicked Lester, the Barracudas, you know, Peter's old group, or like what was his one that did the original version of Beth, that hippie band that he was in?
Oh,
Chelsea.
Chelsea Rats.
Chelsea,
Oh, just Chelsea. Yeah.
Chelsea, and then did you guys ever hear that Ace Frehley reel that dude found in that barn?
Dude, crazy.
How much did he sell that for? A lot of money. He found an old recording from his old band. What were they called? They're called
Molimo or something.
Molemo. Yeah.
Oh, I do know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just fascinating to me.
Look it up.
You know, the only shame about Kiss is they don't have a ton of like cool unreleased tracks. You know, like
I don't know,
best,
dude. That Gene Simmons vault
Yeah.
has some cool stuff. That kids in makeup song or something.
One song I thought was cool was the song he gave to Wendy Williams. I thought that song should have been on Creatures of the Night.
It's My Life?
It's My Life. Because that
apparently that was supposed to be on a Kiss record, but Paul was real mad that they let someone else record it first.
Well, they demoed it for, I think, for The Elder or Creatures of the Night or something, and that demo's online in like piss poor quality, but it's got Eric, Paul, and Gene on it.
There's a version on their box set too, yeah.
Oh, because they were going to do it on Psycho Circus as well, but Paul wasn't down with that.
Yeah.
All right, so
sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go on.
I was gonna say a lot of their. I just finished this book about Kiss in the '80s, and I guess they had a lot of stuff they demoed that didn't get on the records, but instead of like putting it away, they would give it to other bands to record. So a lot of like unreleased Kiss songs were recorded by other bands, like
like Faster Pussycat, I think. Those kind of bands.
Yeah, and like bands like it was like maybe even Black and Blue, but I don't know, I don't remember. But they a lot of stuff is out there, but not by them.
That's when Gene started his own label, and I think he wanted to
House of Lords on there.
I just came up with a great idea. That'd be like kind of the ultimate fuck you to the man.
Tell me.
We start a band, and all the songs we play are from songs from Gene Simmons' secret vault.
That'd be so sick.
Our entire catalog.
And every album we release could be disc 1, disc 2.
And it's all a free download. No money, money required.
But we can charge for meet and greets, Dan.
Oh yeah.
Yo, I'm gonna keep that in mind.
And then if you had it on vinyl, you could just spin it backwards, and it's the actual song.
Yeah.
Like
it's pretty good.
That's a psychedelic concept,
man.
Well, we could we'll have songs that be like, yo, this kicks ass, and then people will be like, what the fuck is this? And then, oh, this rules. And then what is this band? Like people who didn't know anything about Kiss. Like,
have you guys checked out that band that's trying to sound like the Alive 2 studio tracks?
Yeah, those guys
like
rule.
Classic 78.
Classic 78.
Some of those songs are so good,
dude. Who is that guy? Who is that guy? Classic 78. If everyone look it up. Classic with a K, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they've kept it down low. They don't want to reveal their faces because they
don't want to get sued.
They probably look like our grandfathers or something.
Wait, when I talk, does my thing? My thing is just isn't. I'm gonna fix this glitch for the next episode. My face hasn't grown once.
Hey, so since it's Ace's birthday, let's talk a little bit about Ace. Let's talk about Ace and his mystique.
Planet Jandel. I like. He's been a weirdo eccentric from day one. You know, was it Paul's book where he talks about how Ace would just like stare at like a spot on the ground and just go, "I'll kill them one by one. I'll kill them one by one."
I like the story where they're on the Europe tour and he gets the binoculars to like look at women in like balconies and stuff. And then somewhere in Europe or Australia, his window was just in front of another wall, so he put up like a magazine and still just sat in his room with the binoculars, like staring at a pinup poster.
That's awesome.
Guy's in outer space, man.
He is a
Man, I got-
fun guy. You
I
got
got
what?
two
Yeah.
favorite Ace Frehley stories that I've heard. One was I think it was the reunion tour. He was supposed to be. He promised he was clean, but he still liked to get down a little bit. So he had like if you get like a nasal spray, like, and it clears out your sinuses. He had those, but it was filled with drugs. And he'd be like, "Hey guys, I just got a little. I gotta take care of this." Now I don't know if that one's true, but there's another one. I always like it, but there's one that Eric Singer told in an interview, and they're like, "You must have Ace Frehley stories." Like Ace Frehley's insane. He's like, "I love him, but he's nuts." And he's like, one time,
Guitarist.
he wanted to go on stage and take Viagra, but he was worried it wouldn't hit him in time. And he's like, "Why would you even do that?" He's like, "I just want to be hot on stage. I don't know." So he snorted it. And apparently it didn't work down there, but it made his nose swell up really big.
Yes!
Oh my God.
Because I guess that's how it works. It just makes blood rush. So I guess his nose just filled with blood. His nose
So
was
sick.
Jesus
It's like an
Christ.
insane story, but I love it.
Yo, I remember he had a birthday party at Manitoba's on Avenue B. I wasn't there, but my boy Tommy Volume, Star Spangles, was there. He used to get invited to those kind of things. All the older guys loved him. The Ace got so wasted he like sat in his cake. I mean, he's just like walking around all night with cake all over his ass.
I heard he also had some weird armor on at the B-Day bash. Like he was wearing medieval gauntlets and stuff.
Yeah. I feel should this be like we can just say whatever. Like what is that three sides of the coin? Like what is there? Like
Well,
I
they're
feel
pretty
like we can talk as much shit as we want.
They're pretty topical. I would suggest.
Because I don't
that
think we're
maybe-
gonna get Ace on this show. I think we should just be the Rebel Alliance, the Rebels.
Yeah.
Rebel
I
Alliance.
do think, though, moving forward, we should pick a topic to have a discussion about for every episode moving forward.
Yeah,
let's continue on the Ace thing, man.
Yeah.
I mean, what I really like about him is that he has that George Harrison, David Bowie mashed up into one.
yeah.
He looks cool. He doesn't look like he's American. I guess he's Native American and German, but he looks more Asian. So of course, like in Japan, people loved him, and of course, he had the coolest outfit. I mean, Gene's first outfit was.
I love that
cool.
skull and crossbones Gene costume.
Yeah, and the bat. I guess they thought it was kind of corny, but I think it's kind of cool.
The skull. I think that was their coolest look, except for Peter back in those days when he wore like little purple silk shorts over his tie.
Yeah,
that
no
wasn't.
way.
That was,
He could have been in the Ronald McDonald gang.
like a T-shirt with like a glitter picture of like a snare drum on it. Like,
well, he dressed more like he was in a gang. Because I guess he was in gangs.
Eventually, first album there, he definitely, he had the knife and the switchblade in the photos and shit.
Yeah, he's like.
And for those who don't know, Ace and Peter were in fact in the Ducky Boys and the Young Lords. And what was it we talked about the other day? We figured out what Peter's main gang was. He was in the Young Lords, right?
I think it was the Young Lords, yeah.
And then something else though that they said they would dress like gangsters from the 30s or something. In Williamsburg and Greenpoint.
Yeah, that I don't remember.
Their clubhouse was like an abandoned storefront. I'd like to find out more about. I think Peter and Ace should maybe put out books about their fucking gang years.
Yeah. The funniest thing about Ace's book is that he hops around a lot, and he's like, I don't really remember the rest of the year, but about a week later, and he'll go into extreme detail about doing well with John Belushi.
Yeah, his book was like very detailed, and then he's like, in 1975, I tried cocaine. Anyway, in 2000, Kiss asked me to join the band.
It's like
he didn't remember anything, but he remembered little things like me and John Belushi bought a boat.
It's like Pulp Fiction or it's like Quentin Tarantino movie.
You know what really bummed me out though? In 2007, when Ace did that Dunkin' Donuts commercial in full costume.
Yeah, like that.
I was like, no, it was awesome, but I thought he was back in the band. You know,
Oh.
like
Was he
Yeah.
not in the band at that time?
this is before Facebook and social media was really like the gateway. So like if you saw that on TV, you would assume, wait, what? Is he back in the band? You know what I'm
Is that your
saying?
P&L statement?
Yeah, because you pee it
So
up.
sick.
Oh my god! Oh my god! I gotta rewatch that today.
Yeah.
That's your
Yeah, that's
P&L
fantastic.
statement.
But my favorite thing about Ace is I think of all Kiss members, period, he's the most consistent. His songs always sound like Ace Frehley, even when he's going into some weird territory like Dark Light or Torpedo Girl, or even on some of his forget the Todd Howard songs, but some of the Frehley's Comet stuff. It's like you always know there's a certain level of hard rock and melody that you're gonna get from him. And it's always good. Like it never goes below the quality line. I know Juan disagrees with me on the last album, but yeah, it's like you could get Paul's solo album "Live to Win." It's like I don't know what he was going for. Same thing with Peter's. Same thing with Gene's. You know what I mean?
Well,
Ace
I think
just wants to rock, man.
Ace was always kind of like he was already tapped into cool shit like
Yeah.
before the other guys. I think Gene, before he was like the demon, he was like kind of like a hippie-ish dude with like a beard,
Yeah.
and he wanted to be Beatles at that time. Ace was already like, you know,
Down with the
Jimi
dolls.
Hendrix, The Who,
Yeah.
you know, and then he was the one that was hanging out at the Dolls shows.
Yeah.
And he went
Yeah, I was
with
gonna
full makeup.
you make a good point because you actually, I was gonna vibe like growing up. Gene and Paul were like extremely uncool guys, and like kind
Yeah.
of started this band to like shove it up
Validate
everyone's face.
their
Like
lateness.
you didn't go to the prom with me, and you wouldn't let me in
Yeah.
the gang. Whereas Peter and Ace were like cool dudes in gangs, being like probably beating up Gene and Paul.
Well,
Yeah.
I listened to Paul Stanley's audiobook. Yeah, he's like bitter on it. He's like, a lot of people think that like Peter and Ace were the real rockers in the band, but you know, showing up late and getting wasted, that's not rock and roll. That's just being an idiot. I'm like, no, Paul, seriously,
Yeah,
it's
like,
rock and roll as fuck.
Getting so drunk you can't play your instrument. You think Led Zeppelin did that? Yeah,
One
man,
of my
I do.
favorite Ace things is the last show.
that happens. That's rock and roll.
One of my favorite Ace things is that footage of him drunk in Australia on the farewell tour, where he's just jumping into random Kiss songs, and Kiss tries to like put it in their set lists as a medley, but you know Ace Frehley just went off the rails, and he's bringing out songs he knows they can't play, like Rocket Ride and Watching You. Like,
There's a video of this.
yeah, it's like a 10-minute jam, and you see Paul is like seriously like pissed. And Gene Simmons gets on the mic halfway through. He's like, "What does the Ace Frehley band want to do next?" And Ace Frehley responds. He goes, "She." It starts playing "She."
Yeah, he started playing all the deep cuts.
Oh my
Which
god,
is
I gotta
awesome.
see that. I gotta see that.
Yeah,
But-
and Paul
but
tries
what's
to
it-
come back with Mr. Speed or something, but which is
Yeah.
sick too. Don't get me wrong, but
But was that in Australia or that was under the Brooklyn Bridge?
no,
when they
that was
played Years
Australia because it's with Eric Singer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
and
bet
Eric
Eric Singer
Singer,
partied hard
Eric
with him.
Singer was in heaven because he loves all those old tracks.
Yeah.
And he's always down for like the
Wait a
old
minute.
Kiss stuff.
Wait a minute. Jumping back. I did kind of meet. I went to a Best Buy in Manhattan when they. What were they promoting?
The
It
box set.
It was when Thayer first joined and Peter was still in it.
Probably the box set or the Kiss Symphony.
Yeah, it was.
Oh
it was,
yeah, they put out some weird live records with that lineup.
The Kiss Symphony record.
It was a Best Buy in Manhattan, and I went, and it was a big line of people. And I got my picture with them. I stick up the horns. Gene sticks it up, and I stick out my tongue. Stick up the horns. Gene sticks out his tongue.
Oh my god.
Were they in
that's
makeup?
Awesome.
Yeah, no, they're fully in full uniform, and I was like, I was touching them and their spandex and all that. It was crazy. And
Dude,
Thayer looked nervous, but I walk up in the line. I walk up and Paul looks at me. He goes, "Hey man, nice tats." And then I got the photo, and then I walked away. And the next guy comes up and he goes, "Hey man, nice tats." Same exact words. Sorry, Juan. What's up, Juan?
Man, so you took a photo with Gene and both of you guys were sticking your tongues out?
Yeah, I gotta find it. It's on like I don't know if it exists
Dude.
anymore. I think like Harley Flanagan's nephew was in line too, and I told him you can just email it to me. I'll get it to you. And I feel bad. I never got him his photo. I think they're
Well,
gone
for the audience watching in the future, you got to do the tongue thing now.
So
There
sick.
you go. There you go.
It's
So
really,
sick.
it's really a trick the way I do it. Gene legitimately has a long time, but if you open your mouth real wide and go to a certain angle,
Yeah, it's all about the angle.
Yeah, I think you're pretty good.
I think yours is pretty long though.
I
Mine
think
doesn't
it's
go.
long.
Yeah,
I have a
it's
shrimp tongue, dude. Mine's shrimpanati.
yeah, I
All
can't
right,
do it.
well, let me try different angles here.
Next time you got to eat Jolly Ranchers. That's what he does, so you keep
Yeah.
his tongue red.
Actually, it's Cherry Lifesavers one, but good try.
Cherry Life. Okay.
Yikes.
Man, I've never gotten to meet them in makeup. I wish I had $7,500 to blow and touch all their instruments and shit. The meet and greet packages on this tour are so ridiculous. It's not fair to any Kiss fan.
I was looking up one. It was $4,000, and you get to stand and like touch Paul and Gene's microphone. Like, I don't want to do that. Like, it's not,
No, it's not four. It's
not that great.
7,500.
Really?
4,000. Yeah, and you don't even get they don't even sign your stuff. You only get a pre-autographed item.
Right. Yeah.
That's my least favorite part about Kiss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What you just said. What you just
They're
said
so
right
cheap.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like they can never just be cool. Like everything.
Yeah.
Oh, you
Everything
want my
has to come with a
autograph?
price.
Well, we're just hanging out. Can I have your autograph? Well, we do charge for that. It's like,
Well, have you guys noticed
you
that now
charge
when
for
they,
that.
have you guys noticed when they break their guitars on stage, they don't throw it out in the audience anymore. Now they just
Yeah, they sell
They
that.
sell it, right?
They sell it, yeah.
I think that's the lamest thing, to buy a pre-broken guitar. There's no story behind it. Like,
Yeah. Ben, this last tour, a friend of mine called me up and he goes, "Hey, I got the meet and greet. You want to do the meet and greet?" And I'm like, "Hell yeah!" So he told me that Doc McGee was his godfather. So we
sick.
wait in line. You have to wait in line. Like, you missed the opening bands. I didn't know who was opening at the time. So
It was just
we
the
got
painter,
there.
anyways.
Yeah, who's painting that night?
For those who don't know who Doc McGee is, he is
Legendary
Kiss's
manager of
manager.
Kiss and
Yeah.
Motley Crue and Skid Row and all my favorites.
all right. Go on, one.
Bon Jovi.
Famous drug dealer, I think, also.
Yeah. Moscow Music Peace Festival was his.
Yeah.
his
So
tight.
he he called me up. He goes, "You want to do this?" So this is the experience. I'm gonna explain it to you guys. You in line for like half an hour, and they usher in like probably like 10 or 15 people at a time, and then they make everybody take group shots. So it's not like you're like by yourself with Kiss. They put a couple other people in there because they kind of rush you through it. And then
That blows so much ass.
yeah, the first thing I saw was
money they're getting for that.
yeah, the first thing I saw was the Kiss washing machines, and I thought that was kind of cool, where they wash their costumes.
Oh,
Clean
all
them,
right.
and of course, they have Kiss logos on the side, so I thought that was cool. And then you see them from a distance. While you're still in line, once you're getting closer, you see them. They actually look pretty cool up front. Their costumes now are kind of a little corny, I feel.
Is washing machines like from the 70s or something?
No.
Oh, all right.
Everything back there was state of the art. It was kind of cool.
Okay.
And then we're getting closer, and then we took a group shot with them. And Gene, I think he might have remembered me from the Volt, so he kind of reached his hand out, and I gave him the fist bump. And I just look at Paul because I've never seen him with makeup that close. So I look at him for a second. He just gives me the quick eye, and then Eric and Tommy Thayer were kind of like looking at me like, oh, he's not gonna say hello to us, but
they're like deer in headlights. Thayer was like a deer in headlights at the Best Buy thing. He just joined the band. He's like, yeah, nobody wants me here.
Yeah, but the funny thing, it just happened so quick. So you're kind of there, and then Gene was calling me Dave Navarro, I guess, because I just started wearing glasses at the time, and because I'm short, I guess he's short also.
Yeah.
And then he kept on, "Hey, everybody, Dave Navarro's in the house." What? I don't even look like it.
No.
And what else happened? And he kept on saying it. But the thing is, when we took the photo, I guess why Tommy was looking at me all sourpuss is because I was wearing like this custom Kiss Ace Frehley shirt. It wasn't even a Kiss shirt. It was the Ace Frehley from the first record, from the original, and it's just like a big. I don't know if you've seen it, Andy. You see me wear it?
I have one too.
No, I just turned my computer on.
It's not an original or anything.
Yeah, this is just, but it's not the '78. It's like the
It's just
first
the
album.
image of the first album, Ace Frehley's face. blown
Oh,
up.
that's awesome. You have that on a shirt.
So, in the photo, I come out and I'm wearing the shirt, and then Tommy has this like sourpuss face. He's like, so it must have pissed him off. It's pretty funny. Yeah, but you're in and out. That's it. $2,000 gone. It's like quicker than Las Vegas. You know?
So whack.
Getting back to Ace Frehley, does he? Do you remember that there was that kid? There's that documentary "Kiss We Love You" or something.
Yes, that
Yeah.
dude. I've seen him in public.
I've seen him. He made that book, right? That photo book. I've seen him at
Yeah.
the Killer Convention.
He's the guy. He runs the Chiller convention.
Does he?
Yeah.
Oh, good for him. Because see, there's a thing about him where like, Ace was kind of like not doing. He wasn't at the top of his game, and he befriended
just gotta
this
turn my light
kid,
on.
gave him a bunch of shit, gave him a bunch of his stuff, and and became like buddies with him. The kid was like a major fan, Ace fan. Like has an Ace,
He
Ace
was even
tribute
in
band.
yeah.
The tribute band. Didn't he like do that band even after Ace like just stopped answering his calls?
He kind of like he got really offended, and he instead of collecting Kiss stuff, he started collecting more Elvis stuff. So he turned his house from like a Kiss house to an Elvis house.
Yeah.
And but he still connects with a lot of the Kiss fans. He actually at that time he was teching for Ace. He was like redoing his guitars, putting new pickups. He figured out a new way to do the smoke guitar.
Yeah.
And he still does that for other people. He still
cool.
rigs up other people's guitars so they can do the smoke.
Cool.
But the guy seems really nice. I just saw I followed him on YouTube, and he just posted something. They were supposed to have the Chiller event, but he was kind of really bummed out. He went to like the hotel where they host it, and he was kind of he was out there in the parking lot by himself.
Yeah.
Filming himself. He was bummed out. Yeah.
He's like, we're here at the Chiller convention.
Just chilling.
You guys want to see my Kiss item of the day?
Yes.
Go for it.
Check this out. Signed to me from Bill Aucoin. Photo taken with Gene Simmons in Miami. And it says, Ben, rock and roll. Thanks, Bill Aucoin.
Hell yeah.
And
I
let me
thought
tell
that
you,
said been rocking and rolling. I didn't realize it was Ben.
I wish.
Like, I've been rock and rolling.
Yeah, and this is the way I got this is I had a substitute teacher in middle school I would come to school in Kiss makeup and stuff. I got my ass kicked for it. And I was that fan, and she would always talk to me about Kiss, but she never told me like who she was connected with. And it turns out this woman, Vera Slonich, deep homie, what's up? One day I get called to the principal's office, and they're like, you have to go to this room. Somebody has something for you. So I go and I find the substitute teacher, and she pulls this out for me. And it turns out she's like best friends with Bill and Bill's partner, and got me this. And I was in middle. I walked around school the rest of the day, like just holding it up, like Kiss's manager knows my name. And now I still have it.
If you guys ever come up here to upstate New York in the Catskills here, I know this guy in Kingston who has an art gallery. This guy was like I think like a South American soccer player who was like famous in the 70s. Like he was like a model, and like, he knew fucking everybody, but he's got like a bunch of shit from the Casablanca Records office. Like
that's cool.
in his toy room downstairs. And he's just like, I'm sitting at Bill Aucoin's desk. He's pulling out files, just everything, like the meals, like Kiss, like receipts for meals and all kinds of paper.
I wonder what the most expensive Kiss meal ever was. Like,
They probably ate like none of it too.
yeah, probably like 1980. Like, let's just order everything for the sake of ordering everything.
So this has been almost an hour. I think
Yeah.
future episode. This is a good good just,
Introductory shred.
introductory shred, and we're gonna we'll pick a schedule, and we'll figure out. I guess we'll post this first in the Elders Council, and then we want to get guests like
I think next week we should pick a topic and try and get a guest for sure.
I want to bring my boy with the art gallery I was telling you about. I'll do it from his basement. We can show you shit.
That'd be so sick.
And and we also want to get people who dislike Kiss and hear their side of the story, and
We'll beat him up.
But
before we go, what's your favorite Ace song? Everybody.
Does this include from his solo album, like the '78 solo album, or just?
Yeah, whatever.
Oh, anything. Okay. I've been partial to Rocket Ride.
Oh, best solo.
I love that one, and probably Rip It Out for me.
Yeah.
That whole solo album is awesome. But
I think mine, honestly, he doesn't even do vocals on it. I think Fractured Mirror is probably my favorite.
Yeah, that's definitely.
Yeah.
Y'all are gonna hate my choice.
What is it?
I love Shock Me, but I really love this song, even though it's like so cringe. Rockin' with the Boys from his last solo record.
Yo, that song's cool. That song's dope.
Song rules.
It's like we can all relate to that. I like the title of the song because it's true. So,
yeah, I heard it on tour for the first time, and I was like, "This is lit, dude. This is my life." And if that came out in the '70s, all the posers who are hating on it now would be like, "Man, that's a classic, dude."
It's pretty good, man. I dig it. But I don't know, man. I'm torn, man. I really like the Dark Light. The Dark Light's kind of cool. It's just like
Dark Light rips.
It's the ending of Kiss from their era, and it's just like he left with a banger, you know.
Yeah, that riff's golden too.
That was the last record he actually played on. I don't think he played on Creatures. He said he does, but he didn't play on
because
it.
he doesn't remember that.
But he left.
Apparently, there's some demos out there for Creatures of the Night that he might have played on, but nobody's found them. So,
well, the cool thing is that song has a really cool guitar solo, and it's just the drums. It's Eric just like a funky drum beat, and Ace is ripping it. So like the bass cuts out, and it's just the guitar and the drums, and you
lead guitar
don't hear
and
that.
Drums. Yeah,
lead guitar and the drums. When do you hear that? What other songs have that?
New York Groove is my favorite song. I know it's not his originally. New York Groove.
His version shreds.
New York Groove is when he does it is way better than the original. Because that's the charming thing about Ace. He never like hit his accent.
Yeah,
it's like Bronx accent. That's what makes him so like fun and real. You know what I'm saying?
But it sounds cool. His voice always sounded like. What did he sound like?
Different. He sounded like some street kid, like some street punk.
He sounded more like Johnny Thunders than he did like Steve Perry, you know?
Yeah. His voice wasn't the best, but it was also the best somehow. Like
it rocked the hardest.
You know what's a surprisingly underrated, and I can see why, Ace moment. I never realized it till the other day. We were in the Elders Council going through a Kiss record a day, and the record started getting kind of bad by the end. But on Psycho Circus, I re-listened to it, the album. He only plays on like one song, but there's one song, it's called You Wanted the Best, and it's a really, really dumb song.
His solo rips on that song.
That's like one of two songs he actually plays a solo on. And that solo, like, it just stands out because it's amazing. And it's like, I never noticed it for some reason. I don't listen to that album that much, but like that solo stuck out as being like an actual awesome Ace.
Honestly, I get down
on
with
a song that sucks. I kind of love this song, but you got to admit it sucks. Like just all
terrible.
Four guys like,
terrible.
You're gonna drag you screaming off the stage. Who made you a star? And it's like the song's absurd, but I do love it.
Make up to break up, but we have stayed the same.
Kids with painted the kids with painted faces. That's that Gene track. Yeah, and for anybody, I'm sure a lot of people. I guess I'll put this on YouTube, but I started a private KISS Facebook group called the Elders Council. I should have discussed this at the beginning. But that was my old account that got deactivated by Facebook because they didn't believe my name was Andy Animal, and I fought. And
Bunch of haters.
so I can't kick anyone out of the group. And we get we've gotten a couple of people that I wanted to leave, and I have to explain to them in a comment why I can't kick them out, and I have to please leave. But I'm thinking of like starting a new one or something, and be like, everyone move here.
All the cool cats move over.
Is there a way to like reclaim like a moderator role in there or administrator role?
You can make somebody else a moderator, and then they have to.
There's nobody has any control because it's just from my old account.
It was just him from an old account that got.
I do have a friend that works at Facebook that could probably hook it up, but
a lot of effort for it.
no, he's helped me out before with bullshit, like, but what do you call it? I look forward to doing more of these, and
Hell yeah.
Well, subjects and the setup will become more and more pro, I think. And
even if it's nice to have a fucking KISS hangout once a week.
Very cool. All right, you guys be safe out there.
Hey, you too,
buddy, guys.
And I'll make sure everyone sees my face bigger next time.
Hell yeah. And you shoot me a text so we can talk about the audio.
Do the tongue. Yeah, there you go. Take the screenshot.
I'll do the palm.
Do the screenshot. That's a screenshot. Yeah. You guys got it?
I don't know. We got it recorded, though.
Wait, let me do it again. How do I take a screenshot? Command Shift 4. I don't know.
That's the teaser clip right there. That's the teaser clip.
Yeah, that's big one.
All right, rock and roll.
All right,
later, fellas. You guys be
fellas.
safe out there.
See you soon.
All right, be safe.
All right.
Later.
Stop recording.